What is up, everybody? DJMK here, and welcome to another live vlog. Now, in the past, when I've done haul videos, it has been like haul. Like, I would get like one or two things and then move on. But this, seriously, is a haul. So big that it's basically like. So, this is really exciting. Um, really awesome to share with you. Barnes& Noble is doing their first ever week-long haul where like select books um, get 50% off, and then like for Labor Day you get additional 15, like you like there's another 15% off for like the rest of the books in the store, and then you get additional 10% if you're a member. So that's pretty cool. But that's why I has hashtag not sponsored, because I'm not sponsored by Barnes Noble in any way. I don't work for them either. And we got 2 viewers today. Um, surfing is the thing is so cool. Hello. And Galactic Papa. Do my kids want wishes a wink? I do not have any kids. My nephew does. Um, I like Mr. Zoink. Somebody, I think it was surfing, showed me an episode of Mr. Zoink, and I liked it. And I've been watching it every once in a while whenever I have some quiet time. So it's awesome. So, so yeah, let me show you my haul. Now, it seems like vlogs as well seem to be a very popular thing on my channel, so this just gives me more incentive to do more of them. So I hope you enjoy them. But anyway, here's my haul here. Now, this is the most impressive part. Like, this is like almost over 120 bucks worth of books. I got it for like about 70. It's pretty awesome. And the best part is if you buy any three books in the store, you get a free tote. And it was tough to pick. Like, the Thomas Jefferson quote fit me best, but this is probably the next closest thing. A house without books is like a room without windows. And it's very true. Like, I have shelves of books like all over my room and all over the house. So goes to show that these books are very much a part of my life. Anyway, let's get right to it. So, first book I wanted to pull out. Spoiler alert, I have already started tackling this pile. I've already finished one book in here, and this is the one that I finished, which is The Secret Lives of Geek Girls, which is an anthology of essays, illustrations, and comics. So it has some really cool illustrations in here. This anthology was edited by Hope Nicholson. The foreword's by Kelly Sue DeConnick, and it has like various stories by Margaret Atwood, Marjorie Liu, Mariko Tamaki, Margaret Bennett, and several other female authors or female identifying authors in here. It's really cool. But yeah, yeah, this book is really brilliant. I read it in one sitting yesterday. I started in the beginning at work, when I was like when I had like a slow shift at work, and then I ended up finishing it at one of my friend's renewal ceremonies. Vow renewal ceremony. Like there's like a lull during like a lull during the party, and just I ended up just reading the entire thing. But yeah, this book is very much needed because I've actually eyed this sometime last year after a seminar when I was in a Barnes& Noble in Wilmington. Um, and I was at a Barnes& Noble in Wilmington, and I came across this in the comic section, even though it's not completely a comic. It's because, like, as you can see, there's like collections of like essays in here too. But then there's also like even the occasional illustration as well in between. There's like illustrations in between as well, and they're all by various different authors. Like this one's pretty cool too. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff in this book. I highly recommend it. It is much needed in today's society, and it just such a good book. All right, next one, of course, pretty obvious considering what's happening in theaters right now with the number one and number two highest grossing movies of all time, Crazy Rich Asians. I just started it today. Now, fun fact, I actually already knew about this book I actually um, before I actually started reading it, and this was like years before, like back in like 2013 when this first came out. And I had a feeling that this movie is going to be adapted. This will be adapted into a movie, and Michelle Yeoh is going to be in it. And the character that she plays, Michelle Yeoh in real life is actually a rank higher than what her character is. She's I think if I remember correctly, a Dato Seri, which is like a step above Dato, which is pretty cool. So yeah, this book is really good. Like I read the prologue on the way back home from brunch because like of course it's brunch. Gotta be something pretentious like that. And then there's like there's already like some people who are like, it's such a good book. You're going to enjoy it. I love the film too. So yeah, this book so good. It's so good. Like I'm already on chapter 6 of part 1. So yeah, if I'm already like this much into it, you know it's a good book. So other ones that I have. Here we go. I have the first printing of Black Panther, Long Live the King, and it's the writing debut of Binti and Who Fears Death author Nnedi Okorafor. I've been so excited about this since the moment she announced that she was also going to write the first issue of Shuri. So that I'm really excited about. I think it's supposed to be a follow up to like the Brian Stelfree's Ta-Nehisi Coates run of Chala's run of like A Nation Under Our Feet, because I think I saw um like the more regal Shuri um in this comic. The Shuri that's coming out later on, it's the different version of Shuri. It's focusing more on the movie version of Shuri, which is she's quite the opposite compared to the comic version of Shuri. Because the comic version of Shuri, she does have the science, but she's way more regal than Chala. And Chala was, well, yeah, he had his royal duties. So he's like he has like the pressure of becoming next in line, but he was way more of the maverick when it came to science and getting out there and doing stuff. And Shuri was kind of like, if I had to sum it up with like video game characters, Shuri was kind of like Luigi, and Chala was definitely Mario. Minus the cruel streak. Um, like Chala is always the one like who always wanted to go on adventures and just do his thing. And then Shuri it's just like, I want to go out. I go with you, brother. I love adventures. They kept some of that in the film, but she is way more regal and slightly more adhered to tradition compared to Chala. So, but they still have that that still have that fun brother sister dynamic. That's one thing that never changed. Um, and I also kind of had the theory about why Black Panther is less quip filled compared to the rest of the Marvel cast. It's because his phrases can literally predict the future. I mean, look at what happened to him between Black Panther and Infinity War. It's crazy. Yeah, I finally watched Infinity War, so you can spoil it all you want in my chat, but with discretion, though, of course, for those who haven't seen it yet. But I finally watched Infinity War, and man, the feelings are strong here. Do you know how hard it was for me to dodge the internet for 3 months? 3 months. I could not search the internet thoroughly. It was frustrating. I could not. I It was frustrating. Like I had to dodge things. I mean, I couldn't even watch BuzzFeed videos normally. BuzzFeed. It was upsetting. It was so exhausting. But the moment I watched that movie, followed by Deadpool 2, well, a rewatch for me, first time for my dad, it was like a weight was lifted. I was like, finally, I can search for all the things I've been missing out on these last few months. So yeah, ah, never doing that again. I hope I don't have to do that again next year when it comes to big releases. But honestly, the one mistake I wish I didn't make was like I wish I did not tease Captain Marvel with that one. That one, it was like I was expecting more Agents of Shield than Captain Marvel with the end credits scene, honestly. But of course, they gotta find someone to promote Captain Marvel in here somehow. But I have to admit, it just feels way too shoehorned in, especially with how close this phase is going to end. But anyway, I'm devoting way too much to my Marvel. Let's get to the rest of these hauls. I got like 3 more books in here. Um, yeah. So, I think like a couple years ago, I got into this book called Warrior Goddess Training by Heather Ashimara, and I actually, fun fact, I almost auditioned for this book, but I ended up not going through with it because the audition shut as soon as it popped up, which is sad because I really wanted to do it. Um, but I've read the first chapter of this. I still have a copy of it in my file somewhere, and I am going to and now I'm finally going to see the continuation of that work, which is Awaken Your Inner Fire. This is a completely different book from Warrior Goddess Training. I started the first 2 chapters. I've done the first chapter already several times, and I read the prologue as well, which is not included in the excerpt that I had to read for the audition. Um, but I read the prologue and the first 2 chapters today of this book. This kind of book is a little bit different. This one it's kind of more self-paced to get used to everything. So this one I'm not as pressured in terms of like completion. But yeah, completely different animal from the Warrior Goddess series. This one, it's much more in depth. It's all about like how you drive yourself and how you move forward. I'm gonna see like I kind of am tempted to like see how this feels compared to the Warrior Goddess stuff. But it does feel completely different energy. And I know Heather Ashimara is releasing a new Warrior Goddess title coming out sometime this month or next month. I think it's this month. So that's pretty cool. Um, very different energy, but I'm excited to see where this book may go. And now I'm getting to my last 2, as well as titles I wish I could have bought, but they were not available in store. Now, this is kind of interesting as well because these 2 books were the ones that were affected by the book haul sale, the 50% off portion of the sale. First one was a pure recommendation, Circe, by Madeline Miller. Now, I've been having a bit of a witch kick lately, both in terms of like watching YouTube videos, personal research, and just lifelong interest, really. Um, I mean, I love reading witches in literature, but especially the ones that are like very clever and know what they're doing. And this one was highly recommended. She did a prequel to this, or like the first book that she wrote related to Greek mythology was I think it was called The Mask of Achilles. Let me see. Song of Achilles. Song of Achilles. Um, this is kind of a sequel. I'm gonna say sequel to that universe, where it kind of retells the story of Circe from her perspective. Um, it's kind of like the Penelopios from Margaret Atwood, where it's like the retelling of the Odyssey from Penelope's point of view. I haven't read that either, but that's one on the list that I wish I could have gotten. But Circe was the one that fascinated me more because I got hooked on Circe the moment I kind of learned of her from that miniseries turned film starring Armand Asante, and Circe's played by Bernadette Peters. Like I've always been fascinated by Circe and like her backstory, and even like reading the book, it's like how could it's like why this deal? I wonder. Like what did she what stuff did she go through to kind of come to the conclusions that she did? Like that's stuff that that's always fascinated me. And this book, this is very pretty. It just really reminds me of like a Grecian urn, but much shinier. This book already gives me curiosity as to like what things did she go through to like they gave her the conclusions that she did. I mean, you kind of get a clue of the backstory from the Odyssey, but this one goes way more in depth. Like it kind I mean, granted, it's like mostly made up, kind of like the Red Tip by Anita Diamant, which is another one I wanted to get. It's kind of like that, but I mean, for the most part, it still connects closely to the myth that it originates from. And finally, one of the most anticipated ones from this collection. I actually follow her on Twitter as well, and I made her day the moment I put a selfie on the internet. I was like, okay, my life mission's complete. I made somebody happy. Mission accomplished. Um, Last but not certainly not least, the Poppy War by Rebecca Kwong on Twitter. The moment I read the premise of this, I was so excited. It's really, really just I'm just really excited to read this. I love Asian novelizations, especially Asian fantasy. I watch a lot of martial arts stories, so this in particular, like where it just combines history and fantasy and just rarely covered mythology, it just makes me so happy. So I'm just glad this exists. And I just love the cover art too. It's beautiful. Just look at those paint strokes and the smoke and just the shadows. It's just like the promotion department just they did their job. Oh my god, just beautiful. And the synopsis looks amazing. I mean, just the 4 words up top of here. She is a peasant. She's a student. She's a soldier. And then orange. She is a goddess. Just, mm, I'm excited already. Just that premise. I'm so looking forward to reading this. So yeah, this is all the stuff that I got from the haul. Like I mentioned earlier, it was like this is like 120 dollars worth of books. Got this for like 70, and included a free tote with an in-store purchase. It's great. It was great. Just I feel happy. It also kind of made it extra special with the fact that like I had a couple of really great conversations from like fellow nerds in the store on top of that, so it just made it 10 times more fun. Um, so I'm already done with one book in the stack. Um, got 2 that I'm currently working on. I'll probably start this one today too. Yeah, this I can easily finish in like one sitting because like comics you can go through pretty quickly. Um, Unless it's one of those manga omnibus editions. In that case, just like. And then these 2, I am looking forward to reading these 2 next. But yeah, gonna work on these 2. This one's gonna be more gradual. This one, I'm probably gonna try to do as like many sittings as possible with this book. Try to go through really quickly, and then I'm hoping that maybe before the Labor Day sale gets done, I hope to get maybe the other 2 books in this series. Considering how well the movie's doing, fingers crossed we get the other 2 books in the trilogy adapted because already with the way it's looking in the box office, it's really exciting. But yeah, anyway, the reason why I also haven't really been doing a lot of video game YouTube videos because unfortunately I accidentally bent my headphone jack for my gaming headphones because like for a while that was pretty much the only headphones I had functioning on me, and so so those are the ones I pretty much had to carry everywhere. And today I was listening to stuff on my iPad, and yeah, my iPad is the most dangerous thing. I just learned my iPad's very dangerous when in the wrong hands because my iPad fell off my table and hit the floor, and it bent it. Like it bent it pretty sharply enough that it caused like a little dent on one side. So then I straightened it properly, but then I couldn't get the jack all the way through, and there's the problem. My sound is okay, but the microphone section, unfortunately, there's no connection to that. Like the USB is independent of any sound function. It's just there to power the lights, unfortunately. So I can't use them to make my YouTube playthroughs. So I'm gonna have to repair. I'm gonna basically have to find a replacement for them, and it's kind of sad. It's a end of an era. But I'm gonna have to find something else to use until I'm able to fix my headphone situation, which is sad. But on the other hand, though, I got the rest. It's like my change. There's some changes that are going to happen in September anyway that it'll benefit me. So not the end of the world. Other things that are coming up. I'm hoping to do a collab with my third cousin. I have to get in touch with her again to see if I can get a collab done before the year ends. So I've been saying that several times. I really need to do that. And then uh, finally, Baltimore Comic Con happening the end of this month. I'm going. I'm going. Okay. I'm going. So I'm gonna be vlogging there. And if you happen to see me there, please feel free to say hi and say hello to Jeremy, by the way. Hello. Yeah. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Very great haul. Um, like this weekend is worth it. Like really, this like I mentioned earlier, the sale is going on until Monday, and on top of that is the Labor Day sale. But if there are things that are not covered by the haul, chances are you're gonna come across something that's gonna be hit by a sale anyway. Like there's of course like the 30% of the like the rare 30% off deductions you can find subsections, and of course store wide the entire store has 15% off for Labor Day until Monday as well, and then you get an additional 10% if you're a member. So if you've been hankering to shop for books, if you've been hankering to shop for books to update your shelf this year, this is a great time to do so because you'll get some pretty steep savings. So, in terms of the other books that I wanted to get, what books did I want to get that I ended up not getting to? The Goddess Reclaimed by Sima Corral. I really, really wanted to get that book, but unfortunately Barnes& and Noble only had the Nook version available, and although there is a Nook app for like the iPad, I did really feel like starting a new account just for the sake of one book. So that ended up being just like a two buy later thing. Other stuff I wanted to get, the Sneakers Champion by Jenna Baresi. They didn't have it on the shelf, so I'm gonna have to like try again, dig deeper, or order it in person. I wanted to get some stuff from Sandra Ingerman, but I couldn't find the I checked the shamanism section of Barnes and Noble. There was nothing there. Um, the Rust book by Andrew Rea of Imagining with Babish, that was completely gone. I couldn't see it anywhere, and the funniest thing is that I saw it earlier this year, like in the recommendations aisle, um, at Starbucks and in some of the summer reading shelves, but not even in the cookbook section. I saw Kitchen Confidential, like an updated version of that, but not the other stuff. So that was kind of surprising. I really wanted to get that. Um, any how to draw books. I didn't have enough time to go through the art tutorial section, so that was kind of a miss for me. Love and Capes by Tom Zoller. Didn't have it. I think it's mainly an indie publisher thing. I mean, they did show it on the site, but I mean, they just didn't have it in store. So I really wanted to get number two. Number two is the one that's sold out on Tom Zoller's website, but I know the local places should have it. So that's one I may have to go to like my local bookshop in order to get that. So Love and Capes. The Goddess Oracle by well, now censored Doreen Virtue. Look, I'm not gonna go through the situation, but whatever she decides to do, I send much love to her. I especially send love to her fans because I know like that's been like a big emotional roller coaster for peeps. But in the end, the moment that she basically published the tools, they were no longer her own. People were gonna make them the way they were going to be, and those cards looked beautiful to me, and I knew I was gonna use them well, so I wanted to get them. But there's not really like a spiritual card section in Barnes and Noble. Like at most, like they'll have like the spiritual section where they'll have some sets of cards, but ultimately they're just not gonna have like a dedicated oracle card slash spiritual card section in Barnes and Noble. But Barnes and Noble had some left. I know Amazon had some left as well. So that's another one I'm probably gonna have to use a line to do that. So that's another one. Scott McCloud's books, like the Understanding Comics and Creating Comics books in particular, they're more on a steep end, and they're not gonna get much of a dent with the sale, so I just didn't bother with that one. Um, Christopher Priest Black Panther. They hiked up the price so much ever since the movie came out. The moment like the trailer came out back in 2016, it like shot up through the roof. It was ridiculous. Like, what? Really? I really wanted to read Christopher Priest. I've read a little bit of it, but I mean, I didn't read the entire run. So I really wanted to see like how the run of that um and like the new Avengers stuff, as well as like the new Avengers portion, like the portion that happened after A Nation Under Our Feet happened. I really wanted to get that stuff, as well as the Roxanne Gay run of Black Panther, which is War of Wakanda. I really wanted to get those, and maybe Black Panther and the Crew. But they hiked up the price of those omnibus editions so much that even with the sale was not going to make a dent. I knew, so I'm gonna have to wait for those. Um, and just on top of that, just American comics in general are just so expensive. Just so yeah, that I had to wait. That I had to wait for. Um, but those are. I'll go for my next excursion. I'll get those. I barely shop for comics as is because there's so many like online options like Comixology, um, and the local stuff, and also even like the independent publishers that put it online anyway. Like Tom Zoller puts Love and Capes online, even though he has the books as well. But I like the books because it has like some of the more in depth stuff that you never get online sometimes. But I really like having the book because like I'm able to support the artist and what they're doing. But it was frustrating that those were the few times where I just really just couldn't, because like the price was just way too high at that point. But on the other hand, I mean, it's not because like the price is too high because of what they set. It was just the price is too high for what I could afford at the time. So yeah, yeah, those ones I couldn't get them. I couldn't get them. Especially if I wanted to, I couldn't get them. I was like, I'll have a smaller stock compared to what I have now. When Things Fall Apart by Prima Children. I had a decision between Kitchen Confidential, which is my substitute for um, Andrea's book by Anthony Bourdain. Rest in peace, man. Heather Amara's Waking Your Inner Fire, and When Things Fall Apart by Prima Children. Now, When Things Fall Apart is like a quintessential Buddhist text, especially modern Buddhist text, especially when it comes to like getting through really tough times. I've always wanted to read that for a long time, because like it pretty much is like it's like the building. Like if you're going to like the Pema Children book tree, that's basically the root, and then all the other ones are kind of offshoots of When Things Fall Apart. Um, because like once you see When Things Fall Apart, everything else that she writes makes 10 times more sense. Um, but and like out of all the three that I was deciding between Kitchen Confidential, Waking Your Inner Fire, and When Things Fall Apart, When Things Fall Apart was actually the lowest priced one with the sale. But I ended up picking Waking Your Inner Fire because I felt like the Waking Your Inner Fire book would be universal, um, more uh, universal in application. Whereas Things Fall Apart, I mean, yeah, it's universal too. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, I feel like it would focus more on like when you get through the tough times. And I want something that would get me through the tough times as well as the not so tough times. So I feel like Looking Your Inner Fire was like the most essential part of that. So we got that. That once again, as well as Kitchen Confidential and the Andrew Rhea book will be in the next one that I have. Um, and for and finally, um, the red tent by Anita Diamant. I spotted a little bit of the movie adaptation with Marina Baccarin and Minnie Driver, and that lady from the lady from Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Um, that is not um, that is not Paula Patton. I can't remember who it is. I'm sorry, but she was really memorable in that movie. Um, but yeah, I watched a little bit while I was while I was at work, and I really wanted to read the book adaptation of it because especially like I'm like again I'm in like a witchy slash goddess kick right now, and I need a Diamant. Um, like I read like the first like few pages of that book from like a sample, and already I was hooked. So I really wanted to read that. But I just didn't. I saw another one of her books, like the more recent releases, on sale, but I couldn't find the Red Tent itself. So I'm hoping again to find that on my next excursion. But yeah, these are all the books that I have from my haul. Yeah, pretty significant, isn't it? But I'm going to get to all of them. I always get to all of them. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's a little bit longer of a vlog than usual, especially the fact that there's no music, but hey, I hope you enjoyed it. Video games will be coming back soon as I get a more functional pair of earphones. I don't know how I did that. I barely had time with these ones. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Please follow me on Twitter, um, Discord, and any other mediums that I have available. And if you have any recommendations of more books I should probably get or you think I would enjoy, please put it in the comments below. I love reading anything and everything. It's just whatever I want to enjoy, I'll go for it. I will see you in the next video, whether it's a vlog or a gaming walkthrough. There is going to be another video here. Happy Sunday, everybody. Remember, sale's going on until tomorrow, so like Eastern Standard Time, wherever Barnes and Noble sells. I will see you in the next video. Bye, everybody. Woo, woo, woo.